Nah, lie, but look like me not sleep for 3 years. I put on the concealer.
Well, you know, that's part of the pregnancy symptoms of 26 weeks, insomnia.
I haven't been having insomnia though, don't
No.
you? Be sleep.
You waited up to pee more?
I wake up to pee once still.
Yeah.
Guys, look who I have here for this week's Bumpdate. And as you can see, it's a completely different setting. We were supposed to go live, but unfortunately, your hair looks so good.
Thank you, Lily.
Look at this.
Thank you, Lily. I needed a bit of a zhuzh.
Talk about volume. Hello. You look great. We're not in our usual setting. We're actually in Florida for this one.
Foreign.
For Reach. It's been so exciting. We've been having a good time. Nice to kind of get away from Jamaica. Both of us haven't left Jamaica for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
It's exactly 3 years for me. I don't know for you.
Almost, yeah.
And it's just been nice to be here visiting with our cousin, a couple of our friends, and just having a really good time. We have a little bit of coffee with us. Cheers.
Cheers.
People always go off on me about drinking coffee.
Really?
Yes, and I keep trying to explain that you
You're
are allowed.
having a lot, though.
No, you are allowed a certain amount for the day, which is safe. I didn't drink coffee the whole first trimester, not because I deemed it to be unsafe or otherwise. I've had coffee with all of the boys, but because I was turned off by it. Yeah. But now I'll have my little cuppa for the day, and I feel good about it. So give me a minute.
Thumbs up, love.
Did you drink coffee with Zaya when you were pregnant?
Like you, for the first couple of months.
Couldn't but you did, right?
I had to wake up and eat like a sandwich.
Yeah.
Or a bagel with cream cheese. The nausea was
bread.
so bad. I had to have the carbs.
I would love if one day you would do your pregnancy story for our tacklers. I think they would love to hear about how your pregnancy was like. Tessie really embraced her pregnancy. She was like one of the best pregnant women ever. Like, she found the joy. You found the joy in the pregnancy, which is just such a blessing because it doesn't happen for everybody like that.
It wasn't joyful at first.
No, the first trimester is never.
What have I done? Because when you're sick for that long, you feel like it's forever.
How long were you sick for, you think? I remember you calling me and saying to me, you lied. You said this was going to be done between 9 and 11 weeks.
Yeah, it was rough. And then, you know, I have this as an example for pregnancy, and Tami was so energetic and so this and that, and I was like the laziest pregnant person. Hello!
A plane flying over.
I was the laziest pregnant person
You
ever.
were not!
I really was.
You mean in the first trimester?
No, the whole entire thing.
I don't recall you being lazy at all.
I'm not very high active energy.
Yes, but I don't recall you being like a sloth.
But I
Is that what they're called?
I was a sloth. I really was, and I embraced it, and I ate everything, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
When I could eat
and
everything.
you were beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
We have to talk about that one day, because I'd love to tell them about when we found out it was a girl and all of that stuff was so fun.
I think I cussed at the doctor.
When what? When you found out.
I had a few bad words.
She had the first girl in our family, so you know. Anyway,
update.
We are doing a little bit of a bum date today. Tessie is finding out this stuff. She's really good at like finding these little tidbits. You know, I'm kind of like the one who's always. I'm like, Tessie, you need to do all my bum dates with me because.
Routine, baby.
People will walk up and down. We never burn so much calorie in our life.
It's
literally
to walk up and
walking
down.
every day up and down in the mall or wherever. So we're doing that again today.
Yes.
But yes, I haven't done a 24 week, a 25 week, and I'm about to be 26 weeks. So I'm just going to give you my roundup before we go into 26 weeks of the last couple weeks.
You've been having a busy pregnancy.
I've been having a busy pregnancy. I feel like
Traveling,
I always have
renovating.
Oh yes.
Oh my God.
The renovations, guys, they are still going and we are doing well. And things are looking on track and on time, hopefully. And so, yeah, that's been taking up a lot of my time. Glad I'm not there. This week, tiling is happening. So Wayne is in charge of all of that. And I'm just kind of glad to go back and see progress. So I'm excited about that. As far as the pregnancy goes, I've been okay. Nothing new to report. I feel like my belly has gotten a lot bigger than the last time I did a bump date. Like,
show them.
I will. It's pronounced.
It's beautiful.
It's pronounced.
From the back, you can't tell she's pregnant.
Most people can't tell they're pregnant from the back.
Yes, you can.
But the back aches have eased up, except for when I'm doing a lot of walking right now. I sleep well. Gas has been hard.
It's been hard for you.
I've been gassy.
And you've been wanting to put the belly down.
Every day I say I need to put my belly down. Yesterday was the best day I've had in a long time.
You did
but
well.
Gassy, and that's because of change of environment, change of food. And so the flying, that was to be expected. The flight was great. It was a short flight.
Easy.
Didn't have any issues with that, don't it? Yeah. Let's talk about movement that I've had for the last couple of weeks. Definitely bigger movements, bigger kicks. But she's still not you're feeling her kick. People outside can feel her kick. But it's still not like at that point yet where it's like, you know where they do that? Yeah, she's like, hey girl, how you doing? And I'm like, all right now. So it's still fairly good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I haven't had any cravings or aversions, but my cousin was cooking some bacon this morning, and I was like,
turn you?
Oh, I thought I was gonna be sick. I was like, I took up the bacon and I took one whiff of the bacon and I was like, no.
That reminds me of your first pregnancies.
Oh.
When the boys, like, we'd start cooking and she go, who's cooking? Just like this switch on my hat, it can change for her, you know?
Chicken was off the menu.
It was off the menu for you, baby.
But chicken is back.
Yeah.
My favorite meal this trip was crab. I have to do that again.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The crab sweet, the soul, the spice, the everything, and I don't really get heartburn.
I was gonna ask you.
No, you haven't seen me eating Tums.
No.
Like, not really. I had some last night because I had some beans and so, and the beans did make me gassy last night again. But yeah, other than that, sleeping well, eating well, walking, talking, having a good one. So 26 weeks, I don't even know. And remember I told you guys, when we started this, that in the beginning, you're going to want all this information. And right about now is when you're like, how many weeks am I again? Like, do you remember that happening to you? Where you were into the app and knowing, and then all of a sudden it was like, what am I reach?
Girl, I can't even tell what age I am.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. Do you want to hear about the baby? It's the size of a turnip or a head of kale.
Oh.
She's the size of a turnip. And she's starting to open her eyes.
That's so sweet.
Isn't that sweet? And he says he may wish that yours were close. But
What?
you're not having
you might wish that
insomnia.
yours were closed. No insomnia for me, so that's good.
Some other symptoms. Tiny fingernails have arrived.
No way!
Fingernails! Be forewarned, they can be jagged and sharp by the time your baby arrives in your house. Can we talk about that pluck thing they
Let's
do?
talk about it. Pause.
In the vagina.
There is this one sensation that I remember getting with all the boys, and I remember warning you about it when you were pregnant.
Mama warned me about it too. She remembers. Mommy remembers, so that's how you know it's bad.
And tell me if you guys know about this, if you've heard about it or otherwise. There's a plucking of this. It feels like a string that goes between like your navel and your woo-ha, your hoo-hoo, your Pikachu.
Your Wachima. Your Wachima.
That's it. Your Wichita. Your Wichita. And it feels like the baby's just doing this. Bring, bring, and it goes like this. It is one of the most unnerving sensations ever, and that's happening. I can't cross my legs anymore. She doesn't really do that when I cross my legs. It's just sometimes she does it.
And she don't like it when she sit back.
Oh
When
yes,
they
if I
lean
sit back,
she don't like it.
what is bear that she go on with? She like when I'm on my side, obviously. So that's a very interesting thing that I don't like. But yes, she's
starting to
fingernails.
swallow or practicing how to swallow.
That's very sweet. So the baby
Around
is
2 pounds and 14 plus inches.
wow, that's growth.
She starts to feel a little cramped soon, but there's still lots of room for her to grow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And her brainwave activity is kicking in.
Well, that's fun.
She can not only hear noises, but she can also respond to them. How amazing! God,
Right, so she like jump if like something frightens her, like Auntie Tess's laugh. Alright.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A joke.
Really?
Or her mother. No.
And you may have a protruding navel.
No, mine never does that. Did yours do that?
Girl, mine is dirty.
We call this a navel. Hell's deep.
That ain't protruding.
So I already told you guys the story about my belly button. It doesn't really become out. It just stays quite flat.
Yeah.
So shall I show them the belly?
Yes.
All right, awesome. All right now. Whoa. So there's the bump. It's a lot bigger.
Beautiful.
It's a lot bigger than where we started. It's starting to round out here a lot more.
Turn it back.
Hold on, let me get this side. But then kabla.
Hey!
Hey.
Little twerkage. Body nice, you know? Yeah.
Who are you talking to? You ever see that thing where they're like, I have a baby in my belly. No,
When
look, I do. And then they go, see? But yeah, this is it. I don't think I have a linea negra yet. No?
When does that typically take in?
I don't know, but look at this. What's that about?
Anyway. Happened to regular skin.
I guess.
Yeah.
So there you have the belly. You've seen all of that jazz that's going on there, which is great. You know, something that was really interesting about our last conversation that we had on here was how many of you were saying, you know, that your hair, regardless of, and I always want to highlight the women who are here who are not pregnant, who are choosing not to have children, who can't, who are trying, who are past the stage, who don't want anymore, the grandmas who are here. Did we have grandmas on here too, you know? And I just want to say that this is a space for all of us, and it's really important to me that we always bring conversations to also help you to be seen. And so I love when you leave your comments, because then it gives me an idea, like, you know, I'd love to have someone to talk about endometriosis, PCOS, miscarriages, loss, as well as multiples, and babies in our 30s, babies in our 40s, babies in our 20s, that's so different. So I love when you guys leave comments and suggestions about what we should be talking about and what we should be tackling next. I want to have some daddies on just to talk about their experience. You know, one thing that I really would love to tackle at some point as well, and maybe we can touch on it a little now, is our breastfeeding journey and and postpartum in general. So a big question that came up a lot last time was about postpartum and how I was postpartum. And with all 3 children, I was pretty okay, but I remember, was it Atlas that I had like the blues? Was it that one?
Yeah.
It was Atlas. I remember after Atlas.
And maybe a little bit with Ozzy too.
Really? I don't remember.
I think that's when Daddy was the one that pointed.
No,
it was Atlas?
That was Atlas.
Okay.
Ozzy, I felt pretty level with Ozzy after, but with Atlas and maybe even Jax, I definitely had some blues. And it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable, that feeling of just like, I remember just feeling a little lost and a little low, a lot low, not a little low, a lot low, and like I didn't know what I was doing. Now, this is the thing about any postpartum depression, postpartum blues, it has levels to it.
Right.
And so there are women who experience it completely different, and there are women who just get a taste of it. You have to know yourself, and that's where I think even like family and loved ones come into play, because I remember saying to you always, like, if my dad didn't point out to me that I might have been experiencing some baby blues, I didn't understand what's happening. I remember crying immediately as he said it, because it just made sense that, something is happening. It's not just me feeling sad for no reason. But there are varying degrees, and it's important in those times to talk to friends and family and kind of gauge, let them help you gauge where you are. You know, it's such a tricky time after you have your baby, especially first, but also with every one of them where you're a little lost.
I remember, I don't even know if I had the blues or if it was the pandemic or if it was a mixture of both, but I just remember an overwhelming sense of being anxious all the time, just completely anxious. And like I said, I don't know if that was part of that.
And that's a real thing that you mentioned, postpartum anxiety.
Yeah,
which is
and I have anxiety anyways, and it went through the roof, you know, and I just, it was awful.
Tessie had Zaya right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So can you imagine having a newborn baby
You're already hyped.
You're already, like, you don't want anything to happen to
the edge of emotional.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then comes a pandemic. So you can imagine, like, what her experience was like, just given the fact that the circumstances were
I'm
so...
sure lots of mommies felt that way too, whether or not you just had a baby or, because the kids have to go to school, nursery.
How many pandemic baby mommies are in the chat? I'd love to know, like, how many of you had pandemic babies? That's a thing. Pandemic babies.
I heard the pandemic baby, them different.
Them smart.
Them forward.
And that even brought us to thinking about, so recently in Jamaica, they've lifted the mask mandate. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't have all the information because it happened very recently. But it made us ask each other, like, what will it be like now having babies? What does this mean? Because that was something I was thinking about. I was like, what does this mean for our hospital visit?
Right.
Can my sister come to the hospital? Because before it could have only been Wayne, but I don't know what it's like to not have like that type of support. I'm in the hospital for 3 days when you have a cesarean, so it's nice to have a friendly face and help,
or
right?
Just to greet you after
and support. So that's something that came up. Briefly want to touch on breastfeeding. I've already shared with you guys I struggled with breastfeeding all 3 of my children, and with the last baby, Oz, I actually got a lactation specialist, which gave me the most confidence while breastfeeding. Still didn't make it easier for me, still didn't make it all of a sudden magic, but I was so much more confident with breastfeeding my 3rd, partly because of experience, but partly because I had a lactation consultant who gave me the validation that I was doing it right. Because when nobody prepares you for not being able to feed your child, and the guilt you feel from not being able to breastfeed.
It's a hit in your stomach.
Yeah.
I remember when we took...
You had a very different experience.
I had a different experience, but even then I remember the first doctor's visit, Zaya, her weight had gone down. And the feeling that I felt, like, because I was just like, I am not, like, she's not getting enough. And that was rough, and I think you're right. It's not spoken about enough. It's not spoken about how difficult and painful it is for some of us. First of all, it's not spoken about how traumatic pumping can be. I remember both of us bawled. It's rough.
Nobody prepares you for the feeling of not producing as much milk as you thought you would, or your baby, or worrying about if your baby has got enough food. That's all you worry about. And
then you have to put the pumping for me. Was a really, I didn't like that at all.
I have PTSD from that song.
I can't deal with it. We have to find a different way. Like, we have to research some different pumps, because cannot.
We are looking at different pumps. If you want to leave some comments,
suggestions, we're looking at the ones that are wireless.
Yes,
so you don't have to be a prisoner.
Oh, you remember we used to lock away?
Hated that.
Terrible.
Part. And even though it was a different experience for me, because I did get to breastfeed Zaya, and
you breastfed for a long time. You did so well.
And she weaned herself.
She did so well.
But it was still not exclusive. I couldn't do it exclusively. I had to supplement.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there's also that, and my cousin, she be there. She has 3 daughters. She up in there winding up. Supplement. Oh yeah. Last week I was talking to him about how I was ashamed for having a cesarean section, and how people would want to say it wasn't a real birth, and I got out the easy way.
Okay. I want to know what that feel like to get up with them stitches there and carry a baby and breastfeed. Don't get me started, girl. I'm gonna have to step away.
Come on, let's take a step. In Jesus' name. Sip your tea, honey. No, not that vaginal births are easy either, but like I said in my last video, no birth is better than the other. Why does it have
to be compared? Your birth is your birth.
Everything is a competition, Tessie.
Freak.
So is breastfeeding, in case you didn't know. So let's talk about that real quick.
You're shamed if you do it, and you're shamed if you don't.
Yes, and then you're shamed if you don't do it exclusively, and you're shamed if you do. So I experienced that too, where people were like shocked that I wanted to breastfeed exclusively. I would be like, why? And then shocked that I was supplementing, and being like, why?
But I felt
and then shocked when I said, I can't do this anymore. And was like, why? So I was like, geez, I'm cramming. All of them want me to do something else.
Yeah. And I think it's so weird too, because you're actually discussing a very intimate part of your body that's actually nobody's business. You know,
and you're discussing the nutrition of your child.
Yeah, I think that's really weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
But I definitely experienced a lot of shame for that personally. I felt like I was living up or trying to live up to all of these outward expectations, and nobody explained to me that it was going to be a very personal journey between me and my child and how we would manage. Also,
because each experience with each baby is different.
It is.
You know?
And I loved when, you know, we always, the term that people always use was breast is best. That's very loaded for me, because I hear you, but that's why they had to switch that narrative to fed is best. And then my doctor switched it again for me and said, a happy mommy is best. A happy, stable, mentally happy mommy is the best mommy on the planet. And when that mommy can decide those things for herself and then decide what's happening for the baby, then that was the best thing for me. And so that was really the best advice I'd gotten that let me off the hook.
Because you forget as well that you're also mothering 3 other
children.
Kids. You know, it's not just this attention on this one little baby.
You try to stay married.
Exactly.
You're trying to, it's such a crazy time in your life.
So I know I'm trying to, when my time comes for the second one, I know that's going to be a big
to have a toddler as well,
because I'm only used to like showing all this love and affection on this one little being, and it's not going to be the same.
You figure it out though. It won't be the same, but it will be perfectamente.
Amen.
So yes, we didn't want to dive. I don't want to dive too deeply into the topic, because I would love us to really do a proper. I'm just pulling Tessanne on this channel. I don't know if you guys know this.
And heard on this.
No, we're moving seen and heard to Tess's channel. Right? We're gonna do it. But Tessie, I would love if you could join me for some of these videos.
Course.
Just because we had different experiences for some things, we had the same experience for some things, and it's always nice, I feel like, to round that out for mommies out there. And you guys are so good in the comments to share your experience with us, and that way other mommies feel seen.
And that's true as well for sisters and close friends, because you know, we tend to compare ourselves to our sisters and our close friends, and even with that, you can't. Like, you gotta let yourself off the hook and realize that your journey is your journey.
We even compare ourselves to our moms and our mothers' birth stories and our birth stories. Like, I didn't even realize how much that played a part in our own narrative, our psyche, our trauma, how we were born, how we came into the world, and being told that story over and over again, and what that, it's very deep, very deep. Anyway, I want to acknowledge everybody who came here today. Sorry that I was unable to upload. We are having major internet issues here. My cousin here, she going shame. She said she had called today for some attitudes. But this will go up at some point this week for sure. And so I'm really always grateful for each and every one of you being here. I know you're going to be so happy that Tess is in this video. So thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure, sister.
It makes it so much more fun that it's not just me sitting here going blah blah blah. But yeah, any last things you want to share with our okay, so we have, like I said, we have mommies on here, we have non-mommies, we have mommies who are grandmas now, we have step mommies, we have all types of different women here and men who share this space, just here to enjoy it. Anything you want to share with anybody about anything, feel free.
Just keep it full of love and kindness, especially when you're dealing with, you know, people who are going through, you know, becoming a mommy, wanting to become a mommy, loss or anything. Just remember to be kind in whatever you're saying, and you know,
rule of thumb,
with love.
If you wouldn't want anybody to say
and
to you,
don't be commenting on people's bump size.
please.
I don't want to see no comments up in here when she show her bump. I might have to bump you.
Everybody be talking about, girl, you big. Nobody said it. I mean, even if you did, it is what it is.
You shame me, I'm gonna shame you.
That's a little sister. All right, guys. So, I can't manage. All right, guys. We love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, while Tessie's here, let me just ask you one last thing. We are having a debate about what the name of this community should be. You know, like
I like what you said in the beginning.
What did I say?
You said the
tacklers.
I
Okay.
like that.
So there was tacklers, there was Tamily, there was Tam Fam, and
I
Wayne
like the
put in
tacklers.
tamales.
Oh, I think
But
tacklers are
I
cool.
believe Tam Fam was taken, so it was between Tamily
Who took
and
it?
somebody called Tamron Hall, and also Ragashanti does something where he hashtags Tam Fam.
Okay.
So, you know, we don't want to mess around with other people's stuff. So,
Get your tackle out.
tacklers I like.
I like
Tamily I like. We'll make them interchangeable.
Tamale is cute too.
And you know we all some hot tamales.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Tessie, I'm gonna rope you in way more than you expect. And I will see you guys again next week. So big love. Thank you so much for being here. Bye guys.